All right, for the folks that have asked on how to build the tree, if there's any instructions, there are no instructions. Contessa just showed me a picture of it and said, "Hey, can you build this for me?" And I said, "Sure, I'll build it for you." And I built it, and I just kind of, you know, made it up in my mind what I thought it was supposed to be like. There might be instructions out there for it. I don't know. I didn't take time to look it up. She was in a hurry. I was in a hurry, and here it is. But I'm going to give you a quick tutorial on how I put it together. Then the biggie, the tutorial on how Contessa decorated it. So let's move to the dry erase board. All right, this is the bare bones materials list for the tree. Now this doesn't include the decorations and the garland and the fake snow and the lights and the Christmas village and the little village people and everything else. This is just to get the frame of the tree built. Now if you've got anything around your house you can already use for this, then I suggest using it, because folks, I'm going to tell you, if you go out and you buy everything for it, this ain't going to be cheap, but it's going to be something you're going to be very proud of. You'll need one 8-foot 4x4 post, 2 sheets of plywood, two 2x2x8s. That's 2 inch by 2 inch by 8 foot, and one 2x6x8, and that's going to be for your base. Now we used 3/4 inch plywood, and you might get by with 1/2 inch. I'm really not sure. I went ahead and went thick with the plywood because I don't know how long we're going to keep this up, and I didn't want the weight of the houses bowing the plywood. You can probably use OSB or MDF if you're familiar with that. That's that medium density fiberboard. So pause your video, write down your material list, and of course you're going to need screws, and we'll talk about that in just a minute, and a few more little odds and ends. All right, the frame of the tree, or the skeleton of the tree, is the 4x4 post, a base, and then the plywood discs. Now our tree is it's probably about 7 foot tall maybe, and that gives us room, or give you room, whatever you want to do, to put something up here on the top. Just make sure you don't build it so tall you can't use the top of your tree. But this is the very basics of what the skeleton of the tree looks like. This down here will be your 2x6 base. These are your plywood discs, and then the 2x2s, they go under here to hold the discs in place. And let me go to the tree and I'll show you what I'm talking about. All right, right up under here you see these are the 2x2 blocks I was talking about, and how I've got them fastened to the 4x4 post, and they just stick out all the way around, and that's what these plywood discs rest on. All right, let's go back to the drawing board. All right, our tree has 5 different levels, or 5 discs. The one on the bottom, and you can make these as big as you want, or a little bit smaller, but this is what we figured the diameter of a fairly good sized Christmas tree is. You'll need a 36-inch disc, a 32, a 28, a 24, and then for the very top, a 20. Now you can add more in there, or you don't have to put this many in. You can make it as big or as small as you want to. This just worked good for us. So I'll leave that right there for a minute, or you can pause your video and write those down. All right, if you're not familiar with how to cut a circle, I'm going to show you how to figure out how to make a circle in plywood. Let's just say this is the plywood, and I need a 36-inch disc out of the plywood. I'm going to go down to the corner, and off the edge I'm going to measure out 36 inches. Then I come down here to the bottom And I'll measure up 36. So now I know I'm going to need that much plywood for that 36-inch circle. Now to find the middle of that circle, I come out here and I measure, what's half of 36? 18. See all this college I took paid off? Go add 18 inches, come off the bottom 18. Wherever those two lines intersect, that is the absolute center of that 36-inch circle. Now, what you'll need to do, let's erase all that. Put our plywood back together. We found the middle of the 36-inch circle, and this is going to work on all of them. You just, whatever diameter circle you're cutting, just find the middle of it. Get you a piece of string and maybe put you a tack here in the middle, or hold it with your finger. And this is, like I said, this is 18 inches from here to here, so you want to go with your string 18 inches from there out. Put a pencil on the end, hold that in place, and draw a circle. And there is your 36-inch circle. Now, something else you're going to want to do before you cut this out. You know where the center is right now. Make a good mark right there in the middle, and that's going to pay off for you in a minute. And something else you're going to want to do, maybe back up off your circle, maybe 3 or 4 inches, and go ahead and bore a 1.5 inch hole all the way through that. And do that on all the discs. Like your 32, you got the middle, bore a hole all the way through. The 28, there's the middle, back up 4, bore you a hole, 1.5 inch hole all the way through. What these holes are going to be for is for you to pass your light plugs through in a minute. Now, I didn't even think about putting those on ours until the tree was up, and it was hard getting a drill to fit in where I needed it. So go ahead and bore those all the way through. Now, like I said, you're going to need 2 sheets of plywood or whatever to do that. You're not going to have enough plywood to get all your discs out of one sheet. And you're going to have a little bit left over, and you can make Halloween decorations out of those for next year, maybe. Okay, now that you've got your discs cut out, we're just going to say this is your 36-inch disc, just for conversation's sake. There's that middle mark you made a while ago. There's your 1.5 inch hole back there on the back. Now you've got to have a way to get this disc on that post. And what you do, use your math skills, your mad math skills, and make you a 4-inch square to where that dot's in the middle of it. Make it just a little bit bigger than 4 inches because it's got to go over a 4-inch post. That's going to be the middle of your disc. Now what you're going to do when you've got that all drawn out, drill you a hole, and it don't have to be that big of a hole, big enough for a jigsaw bit to get in. Drill a hole in one corner, drill a hole inside the other corner, stick a jigsaw bit in there, cut to there, cut to there, and then you can cut to there and cut to there, which this will probably make more sense to you. Got your hole there, cut to there, cut to there, cut to there, cut to there, whappo. Then you got your hole. So you got 2 holes in there. You've got the one for the post, you've got the one for the lights. And do that on all the discs. Good so far? If not, send me a message and I'll talk you through it. Alright, now you've got to build the base for the tree. And that's where that 2x6 comes in handy. Now what I did to build the base for the tree, I cut the 2x6 in 24-inch lengths. 24 inches. I came off the back side, I went out 19, made a mark at 19, and then I drew a straight line from 19 down to the end, and then I cut this part off. Now the reason I did that, and let's go to the tree and I'll show you. You can see here's where I tapered it off, and it just gives it a better look than a big square end sticking out right here. And what Contessa did, she just wrapped the bottom of the tree with some of this fake snow looking cotton, and it fits better. You don't have to taper it down if you don't want to. I was feeling a little fancy and did that, and she was happy. All right, so now you're asking, how did I get that fastened to the bottom of the 4x4 post? And I'm going to show you how. Let's just say this is the bottom of the post, and you're looking straight up it. Take your first 2x6, and that's the squared back end, and lay it on the side of the 4x4 post, and that would be like this. You see how the back's flush with the post? That's what you want right here. Put one screw in, just one. I'll tell you why in just a second. Take your next post, put the squared end up there, one screw, same thing, one screw, same thing, one screw. All right, you got that? So if you're looking at it from the side, this is your post. Here's the bottom. And then the other one goes that way, and then the other one comes off the back. See? Close up. You get that? If you don't, message me. I'll see if I can talk you through it. If you want to come out here and look at it, come out here and look at it. Now, the reason that I told you to put one screw in each one of them, let's go back to the tree with the base on it. And this is the one sticking off the other side, and you've got one that's going to be facing toward you. Anyway, you're going to want to build this, the center or the trunk or the base of the tree outside, or you can build it inside if you want to. I wouldn't build the whole tree outside and try to move it in. You're in for a fight then. But if you build this part outside where you're doing all your sawing and cutting, you move it inside, wherever you are outside may not be as level as your floor is inside. So if you just got one screw in here and you make sure your post is level, guys, use a level. That's important unless you want this thing to fall over. While you've got it level, you can move this up or down, whatever, and when it's making good contact with the floor, put your second screw in it. Go to your next leg, move it up and down. When it's making good contact with the floor, put your second screw in it and work your way all the way around. And then when you're done, it's going to have a good contact with your floor, and it's not going to wiggle and wobble around. Now, the important part. We've got our post, we've got our legs. We're going to take our disc with the two holes in it, the hole for the post and the hole for the light. Make sure all of these holes for the lights are on the same side of the tree. Take your 36-inch one and lay it right on the base, right on these 2x6s, and screw it in. Now, that 2x2 I was telling you about, the 8-foot 2x2, and I showed you a while ago. Let's go back to the tree and take one more look at it. Well, let me show you what I did. You cut those at maybe about, I don't know, 8 inches, and you screw them to the side of the tree, of the trunk, I'm sorry, the 4x4 post. And you're going to put those on the same way you did these. You're going to have one coming out that way, one coming out that way, one coming out that way, one coming out that way. That gives you 1, 2, 3, 4 points of contact for that disc to set on. So let's go take a look at that real quick. All right, so you see what I'm talking about? There's the back. It's up against the back of the post, and it comes out as far as it's going to go. The next one butts up against that one, and it sticks out. The next one butts up against that one, and it sticks out, and then the same on the other side. And that's the support for your disc. And you'll want to put a couple of, you know, maybe 3-inch deck screws through that, because you're going through a 2x2 and into a 2x4, and it's going to be holding a good bit of weight. So take a look at that. All right, back to the drawing board. All right, so you got your first disc on down here on the very bottom. Then you put your 2x2 supports up here on this. We put ours at 15 inches. Every 15 inches. Put this on, drop your next disc on, which would be the 32. Now don't put all of these on before you put your discs on. It ain't gonna work. Measure up 15 more inches, put your 2x2s around here, drop your next disc on. Go up 15 more inches, put your 2x2s on, drop your disc on. And then come back in here, and as you go, screw your disc into these 2x2s. 2x2s stick out, run your screw down through them. You can use a little bit shorter than a 3-inch screw on those. You're just going through plywood into a 2x2. And that's going to keep those discs from rocking around when you put trees on them. All right, now you've got your tree together. Now it's time for the fun. It's time to decorate the tree. Now you can paint it all white or all green or whatever color you want to do it. You can paint all this stuff outside, let it dry, bring it in, and then put it together. But what we did, and we were in kind of a hurry because it was December 7th when we were building this, we got this stuff, and you know, we covered up everything inside the living room, and we just sort of sprayed the plywood white with the artificial snow. And then Contessa, let's see, these are the discs right here. And there's the post down through the middle. She took garland and stapled it all the way around the discs. All right, let's go take a look at that. I can show you better than I can draw it. Let's go back to the tree. All right, she got the garland at Walmart, and it didn't cost that much. I think we used three packs of it. But you can see it's just stapled around the edge of the plywood disc. See, each one of them stapled around the edge of the disc. And then the post, she just wrapped it around the posts. See how neat and pretty and winter-like? All right, now after you get the garland on, use that snow in a can and go ahead and spray your garland if you want to. Spray the garland there. Spray up under the disc where the lights will reflect off of it. See how pretty? All right, and after you get that done and everything's good and dry, now you want to get your lights. We're using white lights. You can use any color you want to. White just illuminated everything better because we didn't want to put lights in each individual house. Start up here at the top, and this garland is got a thick wire frame in it. And what Contessa did, she just bent that wire around the light wire, and it holds it up around the edge. She went around, and then you remember that hole I told you to bore in the back? Make sure it's in the back. That's where that wire runs down through to the next level. See, there's your wire. And then you come down here and you go around, and then you drop back down through the hole and you go to your next level. And if you want to, when you drop down, she wrapped a little around the inside of the disc and just stapled it up there. And it gives it pretty good illumination. All right, now you've got all that done. You can get the fake snow, whatever you want to use, and sprinkle it on all of the discs and put your village in it and decorate it like you want to. If you'll look right here, I don't know if you can see it, but That's the top of the post. Originally we were going to put something else up there, but she got a couple of those short, like tabletop Christmas trees, and just fastened them to it and built a little woodland scene up here with a little, see, little woodland critters. And then just decorated everything else with our Christmas village. And we've had this village for about, I don't know, 20, 21 years, and didn't have any way to display it. And we were going to put the tree up, so we killed 2 birds with 1 stone. But that's it. That's the nuts and bolts of building this tree. Now next year, I'll probably do it a little bit different. I'll probably weld up a lightweight frame and everything for this. But for right now, I kind of like it. I think she did an outstanding job decorating it. It looks great. The cats hadn't got in it. The dogs hadn't peed on it and it hadn't fallen over. Squirrel hadn't got in it. I guess we're doing all right. Anyway, if you got any questions, you got any comments, please let me know. And if you come up with a better way to do this, I'm not going to take it as criticism. I am always open to constructive criticism. If you saw something I could have done better, let me and everybody else know. And it'll maybe make it easier on somebody else when they build one. And it'll make it easier on me next time when I build one. So questions, comments, please let me know. And y'all have a Merry Christmas, and I'll talk to you later.